Be back.
Scott, I can hear you, but you're just barely above my nose.
10 o'clock, influence.
Kilowatt 8 news.
Okay.
Net 4 TSA.
I just, as I say, came into shock. I haven't heard any of the locals. I've not heard George or let's say WB6MWL, Jay, or the other Jay. So, you know, let's get the net going. This is the Drake net, and let's see if we have any additional check-ins. This is K6LGL. I'm not sure I'm hearing KW6G, our host, and they're from up in Northern California. K6LGL.
W6YEC.
We've having a lot of Johns there for a while, too.
Well, there's George, so there you go one.
KW6G, anyone copy? Yep, KW6G's in there, Skip.
Yeah, that's what I thought, KW1G. So we're a little noisy in here at the moment. I have some local noise here. So you go ahead, you two, you get going, and let's see who else shows up. Good evening, K6LGL.
November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo.
Bill, welcome back, K6LGL.
I'll take it, Skip. Happy to be back.
50.
So, Charles, are you copying everybody? You getting the list there?
I got one.
I've got you. I've got
M4E6.
I think Jay was in there and Phil was there. Anyone else?
WB6MWL.
No, I got you, Jay. WB6MWL, KW6G59. Who else is in there, George?
I don't know if you're copying him or not, but Chris is there, KI6CSA. He was in there right after Skip, or he was in there with Skip, and then I came in.
So Skip was first, and you were second, and Chris is third?
No, Skip was first, and Chris is second, and I'm third, and then Phil, and then Jay.
Fire in the wire.
Okay, let me see if I get this straight. Stand by one.
What is that? Fun what?
Well, you're coming up a little bit in signal. I think you picked up about an S unit there.
Does that always mean put that in?
Okay, W6YEC, KW6. Let me confirm this order here so we don't get across anybody this evening. I got you, I got Skip first, K6LGL, then I got Chris, KI6CSA, then I got George, W6YEC, then I got Phil, M6WHK, and then I got Jay, WB6MWL. Is there anyone else for the Drake West Coast? KW6G.
Right back down.
Expert.
Did I get it right, George?
Well,
They get, I didn't hear anybody.
for Japan.
Did I get the order right?
I think so. Yep. Skip, and then Chris, and then myself, and then Phil, then Jay. I think you got it.
Yeah, that works. Anyone else around here for the Drake West Coast net this evening before we start facilities? This is KW6G. Come down, please.
There'll be no stand for long.
Whiskey Alpha 6, Juliet, Kilowatt, November.
WA6G.
Hey, hello, Kevin, K6LGL. Welcome aboard.
Saying all that big chime.
Hello, Skip.
Anyone else this evening for the Drake West Coast net? This is KW6G.
Yeah, that's the one watching me.
Oh, did you get Kevin, Charles, K6LGL?
KW6G, your net control this evening for the Drake West Coast net. This net meets every Thursday evening on a frequency of 3895 kilohertz at 7 o'clock for an hour or so of discussion, mostly centered around Drake radio gear. You don't need to be running Drake radio gear to check into this net. Just have an interest in joining in the conversation. That's all we ask. This net is a formal roll call, but the roll call is ordered by the into the net, the start of the net, which is like a first come, first served basis. And that's the way we do it. It's a round table, basically a round table format. So this evening we have on frequency Skip K6LGL in Santa Monica, and Chris KI6CSA in San Diego, George W6YEC in Lemon Grove, Phil N6WHK in San Diego, W6NWL in LA somewhere. Yeah, Montclair, and then W6G and Joe. Is there anyone else wanting to join the Drake West Coast net before we start the first round? This KW6G.
You know, it was an interesting thing, Phil.
Not hearing anyone. We'll start the round. We'll start the first round with the Skip K6LGL. Skip pass it over to Chris when he gets down, and then Chris pass it over to George, and then George over to Phil, and Phil over to Jay, and then Jay over to Kevin, and then Kevin back to me. So go ahead, Skip K6LGL.
Welcome aboard. Okay. Over to you, Chris. The signal was quite strong and slowly building up. And hey, glad to hear you.
It's a mess.
As active as you have become lately.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, okay?
Sorry.
Skip, you jumped right on top of Charles and covered him up. Sorry. But he was still talking. Charles, are you there? Is the frequency clear?
Yeah, I'm there. Go ahead. Your frequency's clear now. Why don't you guys go ahead?
Okay, yes, good to hear. Listen a little more carefully. Charles was speaking, and it's your turn, Chris. KI6CSA.
Sorry about that.
I can barely hear Charles as usual. I can hear everybody else just fine. So I could not hear him. So maybe Skip can't hear him either. I don't know. It's got a very, very weak signal there. Anyways, yeah, just get me on there. I don't know. Does it start at 7? Does it start at 7:30? It used to be 8. So I don't know. But we're just over here on the TS520 Sugar. My favorite, one of my favorite vintages, and George's favorite too.
That's right.
I got my TR3 up and running, and still working on the other two Drakes. What he said, but
so, you know,
I got the TR3 dug out.
I think 500 I got.
One problem is, I
every time I put in it, leaves that needs replaced. What it needs is not. And 3 weeks later, the final went out. Yeah, no story.
What good is the long? Shot for you.
Okay.
It'll help me. It's going to be one of Bob's AK6Rs.
Go get it. We ain't going anywhere.
I
ain't gonna worry about it.
Drink it.
There wasn't much left in it.
Anyway, just 80 through 6 meters. We'll see how that works. And then see if I can get it up at the right height and everything else. Anyway, so let me see.
Coming up on 10 and 4
Okay, Chris, yeah, 100% copy. I think maybe I'm either drifting or you're drifting a little bit down. And, Yeah, it's an off-center fed antenna that Bob created there, if I'm not mistaken. All right, yeah, no, but that starts at 7. And it started with Charles getting the lift and getting things started. So there you go. Yeah, I know it's a little difficult, and but Charles, I think your signal's coming up a bit. As you said, Skip, it's good to have Bill on board again, and seems to be doing good. And so let me keep it short here and get it over to Bill, and he can fill us in on whatever he wants to fill us in on. And then Bill, give it to Jay, WB6MWL, and hello, Kevin. And then it goes to Kevin. And we'll see who else might show up today. Over to you, Bill. N6WHK, W6YEC, running the TR4.
NY6L. Anybody else in there? N6WHK?
Yeah, NY6L. We got the J. Charles, did you get J? NY6L?
No, I'll put him at the end. NY6L. Go after Kevin. Go ahead.
Oh, boy, you really came up nice and loud now, Charles. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, W6YEC and 6WHK. Yeah, Charles, you're loud, clear, and distinct. Lots stronger signal than when you first came on. Well, I've been out of the works for a while. I had a little bit of a blood and kidney infection, and I didn't know if a person could go to the bathroom as much as I was doing. And anyway, it's pretty much cured up. I'm still weak, still can't walk very well. So I have to use a walker or a cane. And they did kick me out of the hospital. They said they needed a bed for a sick person. So there you go on that. Let's recuperate here. Nurse came by today and went over everything with me. And I'll have a nurse coming in every other day. And I'm going to have to get me a housekeeper for a while to take care of things that I can't take care of. So there you go on that. I do not recommend getting that type of infection. And the funny part is I can't figure out where I picked it up or how I picked it up. Where it was at a restaurant or what. Because I'm pretty sanitary here. And everything gets cleaned pretty well and put in the dishwasher and sterilized. So I don't know where I picked this up at. But it could have been at a restaurant. It could have been pretty much anywhere. Anywho, it was a long period of time, and I'm sure glad I'm on the downhill side. So with that, over to Jay. WB6MWL. You're sounding good tonight. N6WHK.
Yeah, N6WHK, WB6MWL. Real good. Good to hear you, Phil. Yeah, you're sounding good. You're 10 over 9 here. And running the TR7, driving the L7 on low power. Putting out about 700 watts here, something like that. And yeah, all the signals seem pretty good. I think, Charles, you came up here quite a bit too from when I first heard you there. And good to hear the other Jay up there in Hesperia. So I'll keep it moving here. And Kevin, you were strong. I'm going to turn it to you. And then you can turn it over to Mr. NY6L there. WA6JKN and the DrakeNet, WB6MWL.
Okay, Jay, good signal as well. You're 20 over easy. Very nice and strong signal. Welcome back, Phil. Big 30 over S9. I don't know what you're running down there, but you're always strong. George, you're 20 plus. Yeah. And let's see, Jay, your signal came up from the previous transmissions as well, so that's good. And Chris, you were Q5 copy. No problem. And glad you enjoyed the QSO on 40 meters there. past couple of days with Jeff and whatnot. That was fun to have you tag along there, by golly. And let's see, who else did I miss there? I think I covered everybody. Skip, your signal is coming up, so it looks like we're on the road to recovery with the propagation. So there you go. And Phil, wow, that's a big deal. I heard that you were having issues there, and it sounds like our prayers were answered again. So that's a good thing. So glad you sound great, by the way. And I'm glad you're back too. You've been sorely missed, and I hope you're here for the duration. By golly. All right, let's keep it moving over to Jay over there, NY6L, and the growing group, KW6G Canada. Jay, you turn it back to Charles there, KW6G.
Okay, very good. Well, good evening to all, and hello to the other Jay there. NY6L here in Hesperia. I had the amplifier in the wrong band, so I just flipped it over, and everything's all good there. So, yeah, I'm on the Kenwood TS690 here, running the Ameritron AL80B amplifier to about let's see here, about 800 to 900 watts on peak. And I am running the Palomar Engineers off-center fed 80 through 6 meter dipole, which I definitely love, and it does work, and it works well, and covers all the bands, including the work bands as well. So I'm pleased with that. All right, well, progress on my Drake L4B amplifier project restoration. I went ahead, the RF deck is cleaned up, and all that, and I had to replace the 61 vernier ball drive for the plate tuning, because that thing was all just messed up and it didn't work. So found a close generic one, made it to fit in there, no problem, with a 1/4 inch shaft, and works great. And went ahead and put a new plate choke itself too, got that from RF Parts, and cleaned and moved the shafts and cleaned switches, and it's set that aside. I got some parts on order from Harbach. I'm waiting to come in. I'm going to upgrade the power supply, and hopefully in a couple of weeks I could go ahead and do a preliminary check and put her on air, and I'll have myself a very nice second HF amplifier and all that. So, all right, over to Charles there. How copy NY6L, Jay here in Hesperia, and good evening to everyone. NY6L here in Hesperia.
Is there a breaker in there? It's KW6G. Come again?
Yeah, it's WJ6W, Dave in Tarzana.
Yeah, WJ6W, Dave in Tarzana, KW6G. Good evening. You're about a 5'9" here, and I got about an S7 noise level, but you're about 5'9". I can copy you very well. Why don't you take a turn? It's the end of the list here, so go take a turn, and then we'll go to the top of the list when you come back. This is WJ6W, KW6G.
Okay, Charles, KW6G, WJ6W. Let's see here, I can get a little more power, probably. Good to hear everybody. I just kind of dropped in, and I heard Kevin. Kevin was the first person I heard, and I understand Phil is back. That's good news, Phil. Great to have you back. I look forward to hearing your next transmission. We're not running Drake tonight. We're running our 7610 on battery power. We're kind of exercising our new lithium iron phosphate battery, and using a 3001 amplifier. So that's the story here. Not anything else to report except for all the weather stuff. We've had about just under 12 inches of rain here during this storm that passed through the last few days, and just had a lot of water around here, and power failures and no disasters to speak of, but it was kind of concerning when we lost power, and we needed a pump to pump some water out of the area where it gathers. So, well, we made it through. So back to you, Charles. KW6G, WJ6W, Dave and Tarzana.
KF6SYD.
KF6SYD is KW6G. You got you, Steve. You want to take a turn?
Okay. Go ahead and make a transmission, Steve, and turn it back to Charles.
I ran out of clay.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. I can't hear Charles. My antenna's down on the roof. I can hear you fine, Dave. Thank you, Kevin. I can hear you good. JNY6L. I heard you just fine, and that's when I finally made it up here and turned the rig on. And just wanted to join in with the group late to say hi. And I'm getting ready to redo the guy lights on my mast. The old one's been up for years, and it's all the sun ate up the fishing line, 100-pound test fishing line, and the big rope that I use on the bottom part.
But I'll say, when I do drink one, I enjoy it.
And it's about snap in half, so I've got 1,000 feet of 1/8-inch black polyester cord that I'm going to use in the bottle on Saturday. So that's
remember them?
That's the big deal. What's going on around here?
Oh, they was good.
Charles, I can't hear you. I got you on KFS, but I didn't unclick the mute, so I'll do that. I will be able to hear you, Charles, when I give it back to you. KW6G, thanks for letting me in. KF6SYD.
They were truly refreshing.
KW6G. You're 5 and 9 up here on the radio, 5 and 9. But you have been stronger before, so I guess maybe the propagation will favor us and give us some better propagation here. So as the evening progresses. Is there anyone else who wants to check into the Drake West Coast net? This is KW6G. Come now, please. I'm not hearing anyone, so we'll start with round 2, and I'll make a few comments before we get going. This is Charles, KW6G. We're located in Clayton, California, about 30 miles east of San Francisco. This evening we're running an ICOM IC7610 barefoot, about 90 watts, to the butternut vertical, HF90 vertical, and we're using a time wave ANC4 to combat our local noise problem. So it works pretty well. But unfortunately, I can't run it through the Drake gear because I have to rewire the transmission lines to do that. So I'm thinking about buying another one for that desk over there, and we just do it that way. Anyways, that's what we got going on here. Phil, welcome back. Glad to hear you're over that infection you got. I know a couple of other individuals who have had something similar to that. It's no fun, and it's very good that you recovered from that and you're back with us. Welcome back. Let me give you some signal reports, and then we'll get going with round 2. Skip was 5.6 and building. Chris was 5.5, 5.6 down in the noise, but I got you on the SDR, Chris, so maybe that's good. George, you're 5 and 9 plus 10. Phil was 5 and 9 plus 10. Jay was 5 and 9 plus 10. Kevin was 5 and 9 plus 25. Jay and Hesperia and Y6L, he was 5 and 9 plus 10. Dave is 5'9", and Steve was 5'8", 5'9", and building. So that's the way I'm hearing it this evening on my vertical, which isn't as good an antenna as the MFED half-wave, but the MFED half-wave has too high an SWR at this point in the band to use the SDR-based 7610, so we had to go to another antenna where I can get resonance. Anyways, for now, that's what we're using, and we don't have to listen to the buzz in our earphones. So that's the way it goes. Anyways, let's start out with Skip on the second round here. We'll start out with Skip, and then Skip over to Chris, KI6CSA, and then Chris over to George, W6YEC, and then George over to Phil, N6WHK, and Phil over to Jay, WB6MWL, and then Jay over to Kevin, WA6JKN, and then Kevin to Jay, NY6L, and Jay to Dave, WJ6W, and then Dave over to Steve, KF6SYD. And then back to me, and we'll see how things develop. We're going to go with a third or fourth round, but I think 3 rounds is probably going to be sufficient, because at that time we'll have cooked up our hour. Anyway, anyone else who wants to join the Drake West Coast Net, just feel free to break in, and we'll put you at the end of the rotation. So go ahead, Skip. K6LG on the group, KW6G.
W6RXK.
Oh, good evening, Steve. W6RXK, KW6G. You're 5 and 9 plus here. You want to take a quick turn and then turn it over to Skip? W6RXK, KW6G. Copy?
Yeah, Roger. I thought Skip already had it there, Charles.
Oh, I have a tough time copying it. If he does, then we'll put you in at the end, okay?
I'll go at the end after Steve.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. Go ahead, Skip.
Well, California gets much louder.
You're up, Skip.
Okay, thank you, and welcome to W6RXK. I just want to make sure I have it. Last time I thought that he turned it over to me, mentioned my call, and so it turned out to be that there was a longer transmission. Sorry about that. So is it really my turn?
It's your turn, Skip. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you very much. Okay, welcome aboard also to Steve, W6RXK, KF6SYD, WJ6W, NY6L, and JKN, and J. This is Skip in Santa Monica, K6LGL. I mentioned this before, either it appeared or not. It's a beautiful complimentary thing between you and George, W6YEC. While George was in the hospital, you gave us daily updates on his condition. And then when you ended up having to, get a little bit medical attention, George did it for you. It's a beautiful reciprocal amateur radio as well as very, very human activity. I'm very glad you did, and certainly glad to hear you back. I don't have much more yet, so we'll keep it short, and I'll pass it over to KI6CSA. Chris, and nice to have such a nice, good turnout for the band. Both equal. KI6CSA, K6 little green light.
Yeah, good night, brother.
You're not welcome. Green light, Santa Monica, located in Mission Bay, just east of SeaWorld. And we're here with everybody tonight. Charles, your signal came up almost over to that side. It was coming up good. It was live.
Where, man?
Pretty good. That's the last thing I ever heard. Yeah, I'm sorry. Welcome back, Bill. Glad to hear that you're back.
This is 3 fingers.
So about a year.
Away. This is 2 fingers away. And this is right up on it, kind of bump it. Which one of those 3 sounds? Bump it. That sounds good like this. Yes, sir.
Is that Mark?
It is.
So nice.
What's the name?
What did you figure out, Mark?
Oh, that one he got was just confused.
Yeah, I think so.
K4 be up.
Wednesday.
Very good. It's supposed to be it's really kind of a weird time.
Boys, I'm going to pull the plug, too.
Change that around.
We're supposed to be getting rain, I think, starting tomorrow through Sunday night. I don't know. I'll try to be back on here this weekend sometime. Enjoyed it. Sam, good to hear you, buddy. Johnny, everybody, Mark, Jimbo. I can't remember who all left in here. 73s. I'll see you next time. Right back here. N4 ECC. Good night.
Okay, Chris, real good. Nice transmission. You're 20 over, and it's a pleasure to have you back in the mix. To hear you on AM and to hear you on sideband here is real good. So, congratulations. And I hope that antenna worked out for you. Yeah, we're thrilled about Phil being back, that's for sure. And we talked a little bit on 220, and checked into the 5 o'clock net today, so that was good. And big room there. And welcome aboard, Dave and Steve. And Steve, both Steve. Nice to have you guys here. And congratulations, Jay, on you're coming along on that L4B. I know that's going to be wonderful linear. I had one for years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And it sounds like you're doing the right thing the way you got that project flowing along. I haven't heard about that ball drive so it's bad. Anyway, that's interesting. And time on the RF shows you were pick up for it. Yeah, and Harbaugh, you'll like that when you get those power supplies finished up. That's a nice kit. Works out very nicely on that little power supply. Heavy, but not huge for that L4. All right. Well, let's see. It was a good day today. Started off with a Zoom call. Every Thursday I'm on what we call a leadership table of leaders across the nation here and around the world, talking about issues that affect the church principally, cross-denominationally. So it's really been a tremendous table that I've got to be a part of. And then, let's see, had a nice breakfast this morning. And let's see, I got my bank account balance, which is always Yahoo side. Get the bank account, the balances, you don't have to find some crazy mistake you made, in the entry. So thrilled with that. Everything balanced, the savings account, the money market, it all balanced like it should. And let's see, we got some other things done around the house, and did studying this afternoon, and so it's nice to be down in the shack here tonight. And our friend Larry, IYC, got his amplifier up and running, so we ran some tests on it today. He just needs to get everything put back in place, I think. Unfortunately, the plate meter's not working on it, but he was able to load it up to about 160 watts with those 811. It sounded nice with the Ranger, so we're looking forward to hearing that on Monday night. Let's see. That's it for me, I guess. I have a son coming in tonight from Oregon. My wife's picking him up at the airport, so he'll be with us for 10 days. One of the boys. And that'll be nice to see Stuart. With that, let me move it on to our neighbor, Phil. N6WHK, back to you, Phil. And then the J, MWL. Go ahead, Phil, W6YEC.
W6YEC, N6WHG.
Fine business all the way around. Very good signal on everybody. No problem copying. Yeah, I've got an L4B, and then we put the Harbot kit into the power supply of it. It had a problem, some arcing in there before I got it. And then George and I footage out the parade rest, and he ordered the Arbite kit, put it in there, and I haven't had a trouble with that L4B since, other than one of the tubes now and again doesn't want to light up, so I just pop the tube out, clean the pins, and stick it back in, and then it goes back to working again. And it's a very nice amplifier. Works like a dream. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad to be over this problem I had. And now I've got to learn to walk again, so that's the hard part. I'm on a walker. Because it seemed like with the kidney infection and blood infection, I lost the capability of walking, so now I'm on a walker, but oh well, I'm getting better on that too, so next thing you know, I'll get rid of it and go to a cane, and I'm going to follow George. He's on a cane now, and I'm going to borrow his cane when he gets rid of it. And when I get rid of it, we will break it between the two of us over something. I don't know what. But anyway, everything's going very well. Doctors are happy. I do have an appointment on Monday, Tuesday of next week. I have to go in, and my neighbor's going to take me in for the appointment. And I don't know what they're going to do or what's going to go on, but anyway, I will have medical coming to the house quite frequently, and hopefully it just gets nothing but better and better. Anywho, with that, let's turn it over to Jay. WB6MWL and 6WHK.
Okay, very good, Phil. And 6WHK, WB6MWL. Yeah, good signal, Phil. You're 10 to 15 over here. Everybody's pretty good copy here. And yeah, this L7 I have, the power supply has the Harbach mods in the power supply, so they work real well. I think it runs. The power supply runs a little cooler too. With that. Anyway, yeah, it's only 47 degrees here. Kind of chilly tonight, and it looked like rain today, but never did rain at all. Just very cold and cloudy, and a little bit windy today here. So I pretty much stayed in the house most of the day. It's just not conducive to working outside for me. I used to have to do that when I worked, but I don't want to do it now. So let me keep it moving here. We got quite a bunch in here. Good evening to you, Steve, and Steve RXK there. Everybody's doing good. Over to you, Kevin. WA6JKN, WB6MWL.
Okay, Jay, solid copy. Everybody's doing really well. Signals are up. And let's see here. Let me turn back the page here. And welcome aboard to JNY6L. WJ6WJ Dave there with the 7610 on battery power. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I didn't hear much.
Yeah, I'm on commercial power. I'm on my 7610 right now. And I do have quite an elaborate battery backup system here. I only use it for emergencies, but let me reach down here and see if this thing actually works. I know it does because I've had power out during my transmission, and I only knew it because I got a text message, and so that was my way of finding out. I'm not sure how many hours this thing lasts. I think it's good for 24 hours or something like that. But let's see here. I'm just going to flip the switch and watch it fail. If I disappear, it's going to go over to Jay. Okay, so I'm on battery power right now, and it looks like it's holding up really nice. It didn't even didn't even hiccup or nothing. Okay, so I'm back on commercial power. Seamlessly, it doesn't, you don't have any interruption in power or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm glad that works. I would have been kind of embarrassed, The whole thing goes off the air. Oh, well. Yeah, the old battery backup type system was kind of a necessity because of all the public service stuff that I used to do with ham radio, mainly on VHF, UHF, and we did amateur television and stuff like that. HF, Force Field Day. Everybody learned how to run things on batteries, and then people graduated to solar panels and things like that. So, yeah. So, let's see. Chris has got a new antenna coming in. Looking forward to that, Chris. I'm very interested in that antenna because Jay, NY6L, he runs it, and boy, he's got a fabulous signal. Just absolutely spectacular. So, and I wanted to get one so I can bring it to Texas. I'm going to use that temporarily because, I do have 70-foot towers that I'm going to put up, but that's not going to happen right away. But you never know; it could happen before I move there. But I thought having that antenna from AK6R would be a nice way to start, at least during my travels. I was going to bring my 520 and all the equipment associated with that with me, and I was thinking about bringing another ICOM radio that I have, more of a solid state affair, and I'm going to bring the TL922 Alpha out there, so I'll have an amplifier if I need it. Let's see, what else is going on here? NY6L, what it sounds like you're doing a fabulous job on your L4B. And, of course, George there with his, balancing out the bank account. That's always good when you're able to do that. I remember when I was a finance director for the Gilroy Garlic Festival Association, we would process, oh, golly, let's see, what was it? It was a lot of money, several $100,000. We started off with about $250,000 for startup. That's so you have change and stuff like that for all the various booths and stuff like that. So we would process over the 3 days about $1 million, and about 300,000 of that was in coin. So I want you to think about that for a minute. How do you count $300,000 worth of quarters, nickels and dimes, And so I had these machines that would, they were a coin machine that would count it and separate it. And actually, they were separators. The machines were separators, and then we had to count it manually once they went into their little folders, finger folders. And so even running it around the clock, we couldn't process. It was becoming more and more difficult to process such large amounts of coin. So I came up with this idea that I should see if I could get a hold of somebody down in Las Vegas. And I did. I said, how do you guys process all that coin with all your slot machines and stuff? And they said that we weigh the coin. I thought that was brilliant. So I went and got some precision scales and started experimenting with different kinds of coins to come up with the weights and stuff like that. And we would create $1,000 bags for each denomination of coin, and we knew what the weight would be. Then we just throw a handful of extra coins in there. So at the end of the day, when you talk about balancing you'll love this, George, you'll love this. The accounting system I set up was my own design. I leveraged what was called voice technology The one thing I don't like to do is use it, the 5-point key or the 10-point keypad and put in all the numbers into the accounting software. What I did is I bridged over voice recognition, and so you would just talk the money into the accounting system, and that was a lot easier, quicker, and less errors. So the only thing you had to do in the early days of software development for that was to train the software with your voice. So we had to have several people that were operating that system train their voice so the computer can learn their voice, so they were able to input the deposits for the armored cars to come pick it up and deliver the money to the bank. So that was a really neat thing to go through. But weighing the coin, that's how you did it. All right. I don't know how I got on that subject, but anyway. Oh, yeah. Balancing your bank account. So after processing about, say, $1.2 to $1.4 million, we ended up with an error rate that was less than $200, and that's not bad. Not bad at all. And I kind of figured that most of that was the extra coins that we threw in the bags for making sure we had good, clean deposits. All right, so let's see. WHK walking cane, no problem. Yeah, I like the idea of you and George, once you guys get done with it, to have a little ceremony, maybe do it down there at Foster Freeze and figure out some way to break it, set it on fire, cut it in half or whatever. But that sounds like a great idea, Phil. And I'm glad you're on the road to recovery. And sounds like MWL also has the experience. I know he helped me out coming up with a circuit board for my Swan, and it sounds like everybody's have experience with the Harback power supplies for the L4B, so that's a great deal. All right, without further ado, NY6L, over to you, Jay. And did I say hello to Steve and Dave? Hopefully I did. So take it away, Jay. NY6L, WA6JKN.
All right, very good. WA6JKN, NY6L.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting on the coinage. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's a very interesting explanation there. Well, yeah, the L4B project is going slowly. And tell you, I paid only $300 for it. It came from an estate, and it looked like it was placed in a shed or somewhere, and it's sorry kind of looking on the inside, but it just had corrosion, and I had to get in there and fix that and clean it up. And I actually used WD-40 and a toothbrush to get in there and scrub and clean and wipe the rust and any corrosion on the chassis and the filament transformer that's in there, and the fan housing and the motor itself for the squirrel cage motor, and it worked out fairly well. I mean, it looks presentable, but it's got spots. Actually black spots, I guess the plating of the chassis, and those are going to stay there as far as the corrosion is, and well, at least there's a coating there that the WD-40 left behind. Clean the tubes and clean the sockets and clean the wiping wafer switches there, and of course I mentioned before I replaced that vernier, which works out good. Yeah, because when I got it, the original one just slipped, and it just did not work right at all. So I took it out, and it just seen better days. So I looked on the internet, and I went ahead and I just changed it out, and it was a little creative, and it worked out very nicely. And yeah, I haven't got my Harbach power supply kit yet, and soft start that I ordered for soft start, soft key. It's going to be, let's see, Monday will be a week, so I'll give it till next week, Monday or Tuesday, and if I don't hear anything from Harbach, I'll send them an email, say what's up. All right, over to Dave, WJ6W, and the Drake Group, NY6L.
Okay, NY6L, J, WJ6W. Well, Jay, very interesting on your experience there with the L4B and your project. That's definitely a worthwhile thing to do for sure. And I guess you're really bringing it back from the death almost, aren't you? Yeah, the L4B, that would certainly be something. If I was going to get any more equipment, which I'm trying not to, an L4B would be a nice addition. Always seemed like a really nice piece of equipment. So, be a great addition to my C-line here, of course. But I don't have any in place for it, and I'm not looking for any more equipment. So, but congratulations on the progress there. And Phil, yeah, I was thinking the same thing as Kevin, that you should go to Foster Freeze for the ceremony of getting rid of the cane for good when that happens. And Phil, you sound good. You sound just like normal. So congratulations on regaining your health. Let's see, Kevin, processing coins, the weighing of the coins. Yeah, very interesting. That's how they do it in Vegas. I'm a little skeptical it's 100% accurate, but maybe it is. I don't know. I guess you fudged it a little bit just to be sure. But that's pretty interesting. Yeah, the battery I'm running here is it's a 100 amp hour battery, and I just thought I'd try it out, and I'd run it a little bit and see how long it takes before the charger to kick in and start charging it. And I've been running it for at least on receive for quite a while, and the charger still says it's fully charged. So I think probably with intermittent use this would last a day as well, at least. And certainly on receive, it'd run a long time, days probably. So, anyway, I'm just experimenting with these lithium iron phosphate batteries and thinking about building my own battery backup system for the house. So, just experimenting and playing with this one a little bit. Okay, I'm going to send it over to Steve, and yeah, your antenna work. I'm sorry to hear you have to undertake that because of the weather and so on. I'm surprised my antennas didn't have problems, but so far, cross my fingers, pretty good. I think the SWR is up a little bit, but it's still under 1.3 or 4, so I'm not worried about it too much. So over to you, Steve, KF6SYD with the group WJ6W.
All right, Dave, thank you. KF6SYD. And tonight I'm running the Drake B line with the Kenwood TL922 with the antenna on the roof. Oh, I'll fix it on Saturday. I think Saturday, maybe I'll go up 2-3 hours to the beach. I can go out on the sidewalk and look at it and admire it. I'll probably do that for a few days. That'll be very satisfying. All right, George. So Larry got an amp, huh? We get to hear the mighty rate. We'll actually get to hear him good. I mean, I can always tell what he's saying, but I just say it's hard to imagine Larry with 150 watts. That'll do it. His antenna is real good, and because you can hear him up here with the Ranger. 150 watts ought to be really nice. So looking forward to that on Monday. That'll be cool. And real good, George, on the group you're in, and the things you're back to doing. So it makes me so happy. And Phil, welcome back.
Yeah, they told us, George said you're going to the hospital to rehab. And I go, oh boy, it's gonna. No, you came home quick. Yeah, you got home quick. And you'll be out of the walker and chain in no time. I spent 3 months. I didn't walk for 3 months because I the oak tree fall on me and it crushed everything. But you know, it sure was good to walk again. And you'll make it back a lot quicker than I did. So I'm awful. You sound good. And let's see. Jay, can hear you. MWL, you sound good here. Into Long Beach. And Kevin, we switch to the amp. I know it's looks the same on the meter, but you can tell, I can see the drop off. You can hear it. It's a little divided, you know, and then when you went back to commercial, you could tell it picked back up again. So it's not the case, but it works real good on battery. I mean, the drop off is slightly almost not noticeable. So that's cool. It didn't even, it didn't miss a beat when you switched over from one to the other.
Hello, coming up.
L4B with spots. That's cool. And looking forward to hearing that on the air. And Dave, lithium iron phosphate. That I don't have one, but I watched so many videos by this guy, that young guy that does all the solar power experimenting on a computer. You know, watch him, and he takes all these batteries and tears them apart and shows that they have their own charge controller inside and all this kind of stuff. And it's really the state of the art. You've got the cutting edge, and I'll be jealous of you because it looks like you're going to build your home backup system before I build mine. So straight ahead, that's the way to go. You got the right thing. You get the right charge controller, and you get the right inverter, and you get one that if you need to start big motors like an air conditioner, they make inverters that will do that. You have to buy that kind. And you also have a little deal to hook solar panels up to it if you want to. They usually have that. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Looking forward to hearing about your progress when you get around to starting that. Okay. I don't have much else. There's nothing exciting going on here. Dinner was good. Okay. Yeah, Julie cooked some chicken fingers. She breaded them, and I ate too many chicken fingers. They were really good. So, who did I turn it to? Other Steve. Yeah. I think it's W6. I know it's RXK, but I don't remember. And I think you come after me. Over to you, Steve. KF6SYD.
Okay, Steve. KF6SYD, W6RXK up in Northern California, San Andreas, to be precise. And we're still here. We didn't get blown away earlier last week or this week. Boy, I'll tell you, we had some windstorms, that's for sure. And fortunately, all my antennas survived. I got a beam, 4-element beam, and it's got one of those tilting mechanisms. So when the wind's really, really blowing, it tilts in the wind to kind of take away the wind load to a certain degree. But anyway, we survived, and we're still up here in San Andreas. Haven't been on in a while. I thought I'd come in and warm the shack up tonight with the TR4C and the L4B also. And everybody's got a good signal up here. Chris, George, Dave, Jay, Steve, and of course Charles for sure. So just been keeping busy up here, tending to grandchildren and trying to keep the property cleaned up and trying to get retired here myself. So it's all good, all good.
Anyway, let's see. I don't have any stories here. My Drake station, including my L4B, came from a gentleman who served in Wake Island there in the 60s, and he had all his equipment down there. He moved up to Calaveras County, and from his home in Calaveras County, he moved into a long-term care facility. I was able to purchase the whole kit and caboodle there, including the T4XC and the R4C, and made for a pretty good price. Anyway, L4B has certainly been a good amplifier. You know, if you see an amplifier that's close in California and something you want, you got to buy it, because shipping today will kill you. And I was fortunate to find a L7 over from a guy about 20 miles up the road, and so I wasn't really looking for one, but it came up, and so I snatched it up, because you got to grab it when you can. Anyway, shipping costs today are just outrageous, and close is good. Anyway, okay, over to George there, Charles, and to Steve in San Andres, KW6G, W6RXK.
KW6RXK in the group, KW6G. Good evening, Steve. 20 over here as usual. Very nice signal. Let's see, number of things. Yeah, we got a lot of wind down here in the Bay Area, but not a whole lot of rain, about 2.5 inches over the week. Nowhere as near as a 12 to, I've heard people got as much as 15 in LA. That's pretty darn good, if you ask me. On weighing coins for counting, that's an absolutely right method to do it. In fact, my dad was a machinist / toolmaker for about 50 years, and I did work with him when I was a kid, and most manufacturers now, when they put together a kit of any kind of parts, they'll weigh the nuts and bolts and other various parts as a quality assurance check. They will count them, and that makes perfect sense what Vegas is doing, but obviously they have a lot of more accurate scales, because if you get a little wear off a quarter and you got a bag of 1,000 of them, you know, you could be shy a few quarters. I don't know if that does make a lot of problems for the accountant. I don't know if it makes a lot of problems for anybody else, but yeah, that's the way to do it, that's for sure. Anyways, not a whole lot of other things here to say. My antennas are okay. Nothing happened to them, thank God. The summer limb drop in the middle of August last year took out the end fin halfway, but I got that back in a day or so, so it's just a mess. I don't have anything like a beam here, because, you know, the city doesn't like it, so thou shall not have, so I haven't got, but I got in a box in the garage, but that's about it. Okay, it's almost, in fact it is, it's 8 o'clock here, so I'm going to pass along my 73s, because I have to get going. I got to call my son and get some stuff done here. So I'd like to thank everybody for participating this evening. It's a very well-ordered and well-attended net, and glad to hear everybody on here this evening, and I appreciate your continued interest and support always. Pass along my 73s. Tell you stay safe this evening and throughout the weekend, and we'll see you all back here next week at the same bat time, same bat channel, as they say. So with that, I'll listen out here off and on, but I'm going to be down the hall here and doing some stuff. I got to give my son a call. So 73s, everybody. Thanks a lot, and we'll go in the same order for the 73 round. We'll go Skip to Chris, to George, to Phil, to Jay, to Kevin, to Jay again, Jay number 2, to Dave, to Steve number 1, and then Steve number 2. And hopefully, if you guys want to stick around and chew the fat, you're more than welcome to do so at the end there. So take care, everybody. Go ahead, Skip. K6LG on the group, KW6G.
1,000 watts. Good. There you go.
I think I need a relay.
Charles, turned it to you. Your turn.
I'm sorry, I stepped away to the other side and didn't hear too well. Okay, thank you. KW6G and
I bet that thing gets louder when it starts raining.
That's Monday night. You just skipped K6 on and coming on it. Okay. Good luck on the L4B restoration. And as far as you, George, and Phil, yeah, get together again. And don't throw away that thing yet for a while, but unless, you're 100% sure that that's a handy little item to have.
That's how I set it up so far. Just make the recording. Well, I certainly do appreciate it.
All right. So, good to hear everybody. Steve did all his space and I like to do it for us. And helicopters group. Hope you don't hear them too often. And also my 73 still cold in the shack. That's one of the reasons I haven't been working on my broke thing. I can sit here nice comfortably with a blanket on my knees and other things, but it's not a long project. When the temperature drops, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, you're not, keep that good or keep it from rough.
Not enough. So, this is 73, and I guess it goes on over to Chris there, KW6G Charles. And Chris,
I wonder if he's got an alligator clip or something.
And hey, keep on pulling and all these other things. So,
remember when Dustin was experimenting with that?
I'm glad that you're there.
Yes, I do.
We miss you and all the activity. Very, very important.
Yeah, sounded pretty good.
Good luck in your projects, Dave. The battery power does well. And Kevin, when you switched
he sure did.
AC supply to battery, there was a slight drop in signal strength and just a little different shift in audio there. Noticeable, but not at all objectionable. So it's the system, your backup system works.
What are you saying that in the Daytona walk?
KW6G Charles. Very good evening to all the voice enthusiasts who will later in the next band. And many of you hopefully on Saturday for the storm day. K6 little very nice.
Don't. To tell you the truth, I don't. Nowhere in particular.
Okay, well, I'm staying right here.
Very good. Good to hear you. I got a pretty good copy on you that time around.
I'm tuned up.
Good signal so I can hear you. So,
Sorry, I had that there. I'm tuned up. Played the man right a little bit. During the day, I haven't heard anybody come back.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and listen to nothing. If I'm watching the news or fine films or something on TV, I'll keep the radio shut down. And, I might be in there, I might not, I don't know. But all once in a while to the clouds, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I think I listened just about on every band today. I was listening on 12, 15, 17. I just played around a little bit on 40. Listened there just a little bit. But I haven't talked anywhere.
How many watts are you allowed on the oil meter?
And OJ, MWL,
On 12 meters, now you can do 1,500. Legal limit.
I looked at it last time you
And what's the frequency?
what a beautiful radio.
12 meters is 24,930 to 24,990.
Well, that ain't very far, is it?
No, that's real short band. About like 17. 17 real short, 18, 110 to 168.
But it always sounded good.
I thought it was
Beautiful. C5. There we go. There we go.
18.
The brain cell started to work there. All right, you guys. 7-3.
I know they go to 168, but I thought it started at 18.
18, 110.
Whatever.
So
10 after info inch. I'm gonna go see it. I'll see y'all later, guys. And Jody. Info inch.
Yep, I'm gonna follow you out. Victor Fox.
KW6YG right now. Thanks a lot. You're talking about an NTX5. I think it was an NTX5. I remember that one. Anyway, that's right. You traded that to Jay. You know, I was sitting here, Chris, thinking, oh, it must be my ears, because I didn't hear any difference either. Not that I had my ear right to the speaker or anything. Yeah, so you guys must be hearing pretty good when you flip the switch there, Kevin. I shouldn't have noticed it, unless you told me you were doing it. So, very good on all that. Let's see. Wind up in the Bay Area. I think somebody was talking about that, the wind in the Bay Area. So, maybe that was Steve. Anyway, we've had a bit of wind down here, and I look out my window and I'm almost pleasantly blessed to see the antennas all in one piece. I tell you. Alrighty, let's see. I don't have too much more, so I'll make this by 73. I've got one of my sons coming in from Portland tonight. My wife's picking him up at 9 o'clock. So I guess I'll get out of the shack here, get up to the house, and get ready for Stuart to arrive. And have a little fellowship with him. It's starting to get a little chilly down here. I had one of the windows open just a little bit, and boy, it was just a breeze coming through. So I tried to close it. Got it somewhat closed. Anyway, that helped a bit. All right. Well, we're on the TR4 here tonight, Steve. Chris. Running the TR4. And the Sugar Baker 230 amplifier, which is what took the place of the L4. And this 230 is a beautiful designed amplifier. I really like the appearance of it. Anyway, I decided to move the L4 out because somebody picked up my S line, a friend of mine, and he was interested in the L4, and I thought, well, while the fire's hot, I should probably let it go because although it's been a faithful and beautiful amplifier, I didn't mind sitting down on this desk here with the going straight, just using the TR4 and of course the remote DFO if I needed, and this 230 amplifier. It really gave me more room on this desk. So that's what I was thinking about at the time. All right, everybody. We'll let you all go. Have a good night. Rest well. Stay dry. And we'll catch you maybe next week, next Thursday. We'll see how schedules are going to go. I don't know. I've got something coming up in March on the 18th. I think that's a Thursday night. Dinner with the folks. So I'll be missing that week. But as far as I know, next week we'll be here. Hopefully next week I'll be able to give you a report that I've got my driver's license back. That's the next big shift that we're looking for. I've got my interview on Monday in the afternoon, so we'll see what the DMV says about it. They got my doctor's report that I turned into him that said he's good to drive. He's good to go. So we'll see what DMV decides on that and what hoops they're going to make me jump through, if any. How much money they're going to want. But I don't know that they charge money for a medical suspension. I know they do. You've got suspended because of alcohol or drugs. But I'm not sure about the medical side of it. Everybody have a good night. And we'll get you on the next go around the next net. I guess for me it'll be Monday night. I'll be running the AM net because I switched off at home last week. It was raining and I didn't want to run the net from the house with the 30 watts. Although I've got my amplifier hooked up now, my 30L1. Although it's a little hard on those tubes to, use it as an AM amplifier. So I decided to let Paul take it and trade off because it looked like it was going to be sunny on Monday. And don't have to worry about the raindrops. All right, 73's everybody. Bill, it's your turn again. N6WHK, take it away. W6YEC.
W6YEC in a fine group. November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo. Chris, I'm running the 350 Delta Swan. That's what I'm running here tonight. Through a B104 type microphone and to my amplifier and putting out, it looks like about 200 watts I guess, somewhere in that area. If I was closer to the meter, I could probably tell you. But I'm a bit far enough away, the numbers are blurred, if you know what I mean. Anyway, fine business all the way around. Coffee and everybody beautiful. Can't ask for a better night than tonight. I'm really, really surprised how good a night was had. I don't have a heck of a lot, so I'm going to say adieu also. I've got a few things I've got to do before going to bed. And I got to get the dogs out, let them do their business. And so with that, I'll say adieu. Everybody have a very fine evening. And I hope to talk to you all on Monday or next week. WB6MWL. Over to you, Jay. And 73 to the group. November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo.
Okay, Phil, N6WHK, WB6MWL. Sure good to hear you back on. Glad you're on the mend there, and take care of yourself. And don't overdo it, that's for sure. Be careful. And, yeah, George, I'm sure you're looking forward to getting your driver's license. I know I have to renew mine this month. I think it's $45. So I don't know about the medical part of it either. But I got to do that this month. So, and Chris, unfortunately, I didn't have the room to keep that NCX5, and I sold it. I kind of had seller's remorse, because that radio, after I kind of went through it and did a few things to it, it really worked good. But I had somebody that wanted it, so I let it go. But it was a nice radio. And yeah, I didn't realize, Chris, you'd been off a year. Yeah, I didn't realize you'd been off a year that long, but it's sure good to hear you back on. Anyway, I'll keep it going. I'll say 73. It's good to hear everybody. And we'll certainly look for the ones that get on Saturday night there. Over to you, Kevin. Up there in Gilroy. Wonder how much rain you got up there. WA6JKM. WB6MWL.
Okay, Jay. Well, let's see. The rain. Today was supposed to be no rain, but it started raining again. So it's been raining for days up here, but we don't have any flooding because our neighborhood's elevated. I was out today, went over to Costco today, and all the roads look great. I didn't see any flooding, at least the part of town that we were in. So that's a good thing. So I guess the rain, even though it's been pretty consistent, hasn't been heavy, I suppose. So good news on the weather front. No power outages like Dave down there in Southern California, but yeah, I use a generator. I don't have the solar panels because here's what happens. Everybody in the neighborhood, not everybody, but I'd say 30%, they went to solar panels. And so when the power goes out due to this, the scheduled brownouts or whatever, anytime the wind gets over 2 miles an hour, they shut the power off because of, they're afraid of liability. I'm just exaggerating that. It's probably closer to 20 mile an hour gusts, and anytime the wind blows, they shut the power off because the trees and the electric lines don't get along. But so what happens with all these folks with the solar cells panels up on their roof, which look ugly to me. I don't like them. I'm not going to put that on my roof. The only one that has acceptable solar cells are the ones that I believe are made by Elon Musk. They have solar panels that look just like a roof. It's the way it is. So if I do, that's probably the way I go. But that's going to be a long time coming. I'm moving out of here, so I don't care. I got a generator. So yeah, I mentioned the generator because it's very reliable, and I'm the only one with power. Even with the folks with the solar panels up on the roof, when power goes out, they can't use their solar panels. Now, nobody that I know of in the street has backup batteries. So that's very unfortunate because, at least during the day when there's sunlight, or at least some sunlight, you think they'd be able to use their solar panels, and when the power company power goes down. But no, they have it to where if our power goes out, so does your power go out. So yeah, it's really interesting how they set that up. I would not have gone along with that. I would have insisted on putting a battery backup system. I think, again, Elon Musk has the full package where he uses his solar system, he has the batteries and all that. So it's not free. You don't get it free from California, as they say. All right, so yeah, skepticism about weighing coins. Well, obviously you've never done drugs, Dave, because if you're a dealer and you got to be able to have the capability of measuring in the grams to be able to distribute your drugs. Just like pharmacies do the same thing. They use precision scales. I'm just joking, by the way. So that's what we did. We're using precision scales. You can get the scales that are 1/10 of a gram or 0.01 gram. And that really comes in handy because a quarter only weighs 5.67 grams. I actually wrote that down. And what's really cool about it, if your federal vault only accepts $1,000 bags of currency when you're dealing with coins, they have various dollar amounts to keep the weight down. So what's really nice about the 5.67 grams, if you happen to have $1,000 worth of quarters, that's about 22,680 grams. And so just do the simple conversion. It's 50 pounds. 50.000. And so it makes it really easy to weigh coins. every 50 pounds is $1,000. So you just start filling up the bags, and you tie wrap the top. You actually use tie wraps, and they're the only ones that put the seals on them because they verify the weight when they get them. And so that's how it's done. You have to have precision scales that are calibrated, and it's if you're wrong, they will let you know at the vault. And but we've never had a problem, never. So you always throw in, like I said, an extra hand full of coins, and that way you don't have a problem. All right, so that's how the coin deal is done. Let's see, that's about it for me. So I'm going to say 73 and good night, and the very best to each and every one of you and your families, and have a blessed week, and hopefully a dry one with no power outages. Over to you, Jay, NY6L, with a good signal, by the way. KW6G. Good night.
All right, Kevin, very good. Very interesting on the coinage there. All right, well, I'll just hit my 7.3s, and I got to finish up a few things here, and let's see. Somebody said it's 40-something degrees. Well, looking at my weather station, it's 38 degrees up here in the high desert, and it's going to drop down to about the mid-30s. And maybe even colder, but that's sort of forecast. And it's a pleasant 71 degrees here in the shack here, so we like it that way. All right, well, 7-3. Good night, everyone. And I guess it goes over to Dave, WJ6W, NY6L, Hesperia. Good night, everyone.
All right, Jay, thanks. NY6L, WJ6W. And this will be my 73 as with everyone else. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin, I didn't really notice any difference when you went over to batteries, but I will say with this 7610 on batteries, I did have to bring up the power output from 80 to 100% to drive the 30L1 to 500 watts out, which is my target when I'm using this. So usually on the power supply with the 7610, I run the power at about 80%, and that makes it hit 500 watts. And I do have a little digital readout here that's reading my DC power all the time. So when the power supply is on, it's about 13.5 volts, and on the battery on receive, it's about 12.5, and I see it's 11.8 right now. So I guess maybe that makes the difference under load. I don't quite understand why that's happening. The battery's supposed to put out 100 amps continuous, but I guess it's loading the voltage down enough that the 7610 needs to be turned up a little bit. Anyway, I'm learning things about it. Let's see, and on the coin weighting, yeah, that's very interesting. $1,000 a quarters is exactly 50 pounds. Sounds like somebody planned that. Very interesting. And somebody mentioned about an NCX5. I have one of those, and I've had it in storage so long, I need to move it along. So anyone who wants an NCX5, let me know. It works great, and I recapped it, and the receive is hot and everything, but it's just not something I use anymore. It's a pretty nice radio. But anyway, and solar power. Yeah, well, of course, I have a generator, small generator, which fills the needs, all the needs we have to have here to keep going. And I just want to experiment with the battery backup system. Partly because I don't like running the generator overnight when I'm sleeping. I just don't care to have something like that running. And again, it would be an interesting thing. And our next door neighbor, by the way, has a Tesla solar array, and absolutely you can't tell that it's not slate roofing or something like that. It's beautiful. But he didn't get the battery backup part, and he says he's kind of regretted that. And I guess for some reason, at least when I talked to him a year ago, it was hard to schedule those or get them or something. probably high demand. Anyway, so, but I can attest to how beautiful the Tesla solar panels are. You can't tell they're not a regular roof. Okay, I'm going to send it over to Steve, and we'll have to compare notes on batteries and solar and all that. So KF6SYD, WJ6W.
KF6SYD, 73 around Chris. I didn't say hi. Hi, Chris. I don't know why. Just forgot to. Stupid. Hi, Chris. Good to have you here. And George, good you guys are getting Stuart. And see you on Monday. Straight ahead, the driver's license. Be praying for you. And Phil, go do your thing. And 7th Street J in WL. Great signal here. And Kevin, it'll stop raining someday. And yeah, these people, they get the solar panels, save money, grid tie only. And no batteries, no provisions for running without the power. It's that's what most people have. They have grid tie with no backup, and when the power goes out, that's it. And talk about weighing stuff for most of my life, making little ceramic insulators. Every time you sell them, there's a bag of 20,000, 50,000, box of 100,000. We weighed everything for years. We started out with a balance beam, counting scales with counterweight for each item, and ended up with electronic counting scales, where you look at the list and see what to punch in as the base number, so it would count them for you. But yeah, it was all done by weight for all the time we did that. Good night, Jay, and Y6L. And oh yeah, the battery backup here. Did I say barely perceptible drop? I could hear it, but it's barely perceptible, sounding different. Your voice coming out of the speaker, and then when you switch back to 120 volts, it was back the same again. Now, I don't know if it was a loudness or fidelity change, but I stress barely perceptible. And the Tesla Powerwall, they've got a program. I don't know if it's in California, but in some states, you participate in a program with all the Tesla Powerwall owners or users that the power company will call upon your power reserve in times of peak demand. And these guys are getting checks in the mail. The power company is sending them checks for using their power. On peak demand times, they'll pull power back out of your power wall, back into the grid, everyone, to feed back into the grid when they need it. So that's going on. I think it was Texas. I don't know where it was. Somewhere in the country they were doing that. Maybe it's everywhere. I don't know. But that was something I saw last week on a video. So very cool. Good night, everyone. And it goes to Steve, W6RXK, on the caboose. Farewell, everyone. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, well, I guess I get to tie the ribbons on it here tonight and say goodnight to everybody. Those Tesla Powerwalls, those are pretty popular up here in Calaveras. We got a lot of people have those Tesla batteries, and of course a lot of people have the generators, pretty popular. So you either have one or the other, because well, we probably lose our power more than any others around. But anyway, a quick story in regards to some coinage. About 20 years ago, I represented a subdivision collecting their yearly road fees from an errant owner in the subdivision, failed to pay his road fees for about 5 years. So he owed about $1,600 in road fees. He wasn't going to pay. There was no way he was going to pay. So we took him to court, got a judgment against him, and when we got a judgment against him, he decided, well, he better pay. So he was going to make us pay for it. So he came to the office and he dumped $1,600 worth of pennies on our floor. you can imagine what $1,600 worth. I don't know where he came up with all that copper, but he did. Anyway, you can imagine what a hassle that was. Well, we ended up taking him back to court. He ended up paying for our time to gather up the coin and take it to the bank. And, of course, the bank charged us to count it. So, anyway, he paid for it. All right. 73s, everybody. Have a good week, and maybe we'll be back here next week. 73s from San Andres, where, of course, it's never our fault. W6RXK.
Hey, Steve, you still there? W6YEC.